Hi there, my name's Steve, and I want to talk to you about something I found in a book I'm reading. The book is called Building Up One Another by Gene Getz. In there, he draws your attention to a Bible verse in Romans 12. It's actually the first part of that verse. It's Romans 12:10, the first part. It says, "Be devoted to one another in brotherly love." I want to talk a minute about that word devoted. Why doesn't he just say, love one another as brothers? Why does he have that phrase, be devoted, there? Well, I think it's because of something that Dr. Sovine used to say about marriage when he was teaching a couple in a premarital counseling class. He would ask this young couple who planned to get married, what is the basis of a good marriage? And they would say things like, well, we have a lot in common. And he'd say, keep trying. And they would say, well, love is the thing that brings us together. And Dr. Sovine would say, yeah, you're going to have to do better than that. What he was looking for was the word commitment. That commitment is the basis of a good marriage. Commitment to one another, commitment to the marriage itself, and commitment to Christ. Commitment. That's what devotion is. You see, when God is saying be devoted to one another in brotherly love, he is saying be committed to one another in brotherly love. Do you have any trouble with that? Do you struggle to do that? You're probably thinking, nah, I don't. And I hope you don't. But sometimes you see it. Sometimes our commitment to brotherly love kind of wanes. I'm committed to brotherly love if, how long is it going to take? How long? Or I'm committed to brotherly love, but not this week or next week because I'm doing this week, I'm doing that. I'm committed to brotherly love. I'm devoted to brotherly love when it's convenient, when it doesn't cost me much, when it doesn't take a sacrifice. Let me just say this. Love that requires no sacrifice, that's not love. And you know it's not. You know that the essence of love is sacrificial giving of yourself. Be committed to one another in brotherly love. I want to kind of warn you, if you start this, if you say, I am going to work to have loving relationships with people, with other Christians even, I want to warn you about a couple things. First, you're going to face rejection. Because some people don't know what to do with brotherly love. And you reach out to them, and they're like, yeah, I just don't know what to do with that. Thanks, but no thanks. Or they're thinking it's going to be something that it's not. Don't let that rejection stop you. That rejection will stop you if you're not committed, if you're not devoted to them in brotherly love. Some people reject you because they themselves have been rejected, and they don't want to take a risk on relationships. I cannot tell you how many people have been let down by pastors and therefore won't listen to me speak. I don't give up on them because I'm devoted to them. I can't tell you how many people I have spoken to that have given up on church because they were rejected there. It grieves my heart, but I don't give up on them because the church is devoted to them. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love and expect rejection, but don't let it defeat you. Another thing you're going to have to expect is a little bit of getting scratched by the kitten. Here's what I mean by that. I grew up on a farm. Occasionally a cat would have some kittens, maybe in a part of the barn we didn't know about, and those kittens were wild. And they needed medical attention. Have you ever tried to put eye drops in the eyes of a cat that didn't want to be around humans, that had never been around humans? That can be an educational experience. Sometimes it's that way with people. That when you reach out to them, they will say things or even do things that are hurtful. Here's my go-to response. Well, that's it. I'm done. I mean, if they're going to be mean that way, there's a lot of other fish in the sea. I'm not going to be devoted to them in brotherly love. And that go-to response is human. It's fallen. It's even sinful. I want to avoid that. I want to continue to reach out, even to people that are hurting, even to people that bristle, even to people that scratch. I want to tell you, if you have done this, and you have seen God work in hearts, you know it is worth the injury. It is a beautiful thing to see someone who has a huge chip on their shoulder walk into a Bible study or walk into church and spend a few months or a few weeks or a few years with that church family, and one day you look at them and it's like, hey, where's that chip that used to be on your shoulder? It's gone. It's gone. You can only see that if you're committed to one another in brotherly love. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. A third thing you're going to encounter is some anger. Anger. Wow. That is like the rule of the day, is it not? I mean, the way people respond to the smallest things in anger blows my mind. I can control my responses. I can deal with my own anger. James 1:20 reminds me that I need to. But I can't control their anger. All I can do is have a thick enough skin to put up with it as God begins to soften their hearts. You can have a thick skin if you know you're loved by God. And you can have a thick skin if you walk into something deeply committed. The sports players, in almost every sport, from hockey to basketball to football, they collide with other people. And they know it's coming. And they know it's worth it. Because they're devoted to playing the game and even winning the game. You will have collisions with angry people as you reach out to them. But it is worth it. Because seeing that anger subside and seeing the love of Christ begin to take root in their hearts, that is a beautiful outcome of being devoted to one another in brotherly love. I really want to encourage you to give some thought to your own devotion to one another. I want to encourage you to think through, is your commitment to your Christian friends, your church family, your brothers and sisters in Christ, is it marked by devotion, or is it more casual? I hope it's deeply devoted, because when it is, then you will reap the beauty of the harvest that comes with such relationships. I'm Steve Shields. I'm the pastor at Curwensville Alliance. It's been good to talk to you today. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love.